the only podcast that discusses hot gaming news straight from the source. This is Bombers.
Hey, everybody. Got some news for you. Xiaber's dead.
Xiaber is dead.
That's the gaming news. This straight from the source that is me to your ears. Here's a little callback to the pre-show. I figured it out. I figured out what my shtick was going to be.
If you want to hear the pre-show, give us money. What is it? They have to. Is it $5 a month they have to give to get the pre-show stuff?
That's all it is. Yeah, you can give us more than that if you really want, but to get the pre-show, $5 a month on Patreon / ThisIsBombers. More about that later in the hot gaming news straight from us. Hey.
Hello, Anthony.
Hi, I'm Anthony, bomber number 5, aka Dag.
5.
And my wonderful co-host for today's podcast, bomber number 1, Shae, aka Spiegel.
I was just about to compliment the lighting on my webcam. Like, this is a really high-quality webcam, but I just turned my head a little bit, and I'm starting to see a little gray hair, light shining off the gray hair. Do you see that there?
Yeah, you got some shinies in there. Welcome to my world. That's why I grew it long, so it's harder to see.
Little preview of what we're talking about at the end of the show. I think I'm getting too old for this, but we'll talk about it.
Oh yeah, I saw that in our little script-ish document here.
I'm really bummed out. Dude, about what we're going to talk about later.
And me being 7 years older than you, also probably pretty bummed out about what's coming in at the end of the episode. Bomber number Xiaber is deceased and will not be joining us. So this opening line should have been in memoriam of him, but we don't care that much.
Well, I didn't know that he was dead before I wrote it, and then I didn't want to go back and change it. But what we do have is a ghost here that I will be drinking.
The ghost of Xiaber.
I guess we can pretend it's the ghost of Xiaber. It is the tropical mango flavor, as we decided pre-show. So I'm going to crack this guy open right now.
Which is how I imagine Xiaber's ghost would taste. Tropical mango.
All right. So the ghosts, if you don't recall, have been very successful on this program. I drank a blue raspberry, a sour blue raspberry, and a sour watermelon warhead flavor, and those were pretty darn good.
They get the sour knocking that out of the park at least. But how do they do on tropical there, Shae?
Yeah, it's tropical, dude. Let's try it out. I've got it open. It smells like a mango. It smells a little citrusy. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for it right now.
Wait, what kind of fruit is mango's not citrus? I gotta look this up. Mango.
That one is that's very strong.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not bad. The one thing I really like about these Ghost energy drinks is they don't taste like energy drinks. They taste like mango. What they are supposed to be. This definitely tastes like mango. This one maybe has a little bit more of that energy drink sting that the other ones maybe haven't had so much, but I like it. It's pretty good. I would give this one a passing grade of pretty good. So if you like mango, check it out.
Today I learned mango is a drupe or a stone fruit.
You know, I went to college for this stuff. I should have been able to tell you that, but to be honest, I wasn't really focusing. But maybe with this Carnipure carnitine I've got here, maybe we can increase my focus over the course of the episode, and by the end, I will be locked in.
And you'll know exactly what a drupe is.
I know what a drupe is. I just wasn't paying attention.
Well,
also in the drupe family, nectarines and peaches and cherries.
Avocado. Is that
avocado?
Is it? I'm actually was questioning.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's got a pit.
Yeah, anything with a pit.
Coffee, jujube, mango, olive, most palms, such as the coconut.
Kid Icarus.
Pistachio, white sapote, cashew. You know what? Let's become a fruit podcast.
Oh, we already are a fruity podcast.
No, but a podcast. Okay, yeah, I can't really argue that. Plum is a drupe. Apricot.
Plum is good. Nice plum. Apricot, yeah.
What is an apricot?
Apricot. What do you say? Apricot? What are you talking? It's not made of apes.
What's a damson? A damson or damson plum, also archaically called the damascene, is an edible drupaceous. Ooh, drupaceous, good word. fruit.
Well, that's the full name. That's the full name of the fruit family.
Yeah, like a
family.
Like a crustacean.
If you think I'm making all this up, by the way, I'm not. I'm not 100% sure on some of the things that I'm saying, but I do remember a lot of the horticulture classes that I took in college. So
let's get it. Let's talk about some.
Let's talk about blueberries. Let's talk about the degree days needed to properly grow a blueberry plant.
Well, I was going to move on, but no, I'm actually very curious.
Well, I can't remember right now, so let's do the other thing.
Well, that's disappointing. Instead of talking about fruit, let's talk about bombers. With the bombtastic news, the fruitastic news. All right, here we go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So,
Xiaber is dead.
Xiaber is dead. That's very important.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard.
I was gonna continue this and make it be fruitastic news, but I don't know anything.
You were gonna put a fruity spin on each. Let me see if I can do it. I'll see what I can come up with.
I don't know fruit enough, but Mr. Horticulture over here.
All right, go ahead.
No, I wanted your fruit take on all of our news.
No, I can't read the news. I was just gonna do a fruity spin on what you say.
Color commentary off of the actual news.
Right. The idea, yeah.
Hey, we've got a website, ThisIsBombers.com, that you can go to, and it'll tell you everything that would have been in this bombtastic news segment. So, go to ThisIsBombers.com and read about the bombers.
ThisIsBombers.corn. All right.
Corn is a cereal. Is it a fruit? It's more like a grain, isn't it?
Cereal is made of various grains.
No, but corn.
Oh, corn. Yeah, well, corn is not a fruit. It is a vegetable.
Because it's more like wheat than it is like than it is like a fruit.
I don't know much about corn, but I think we should probably move on.
We
lose every listener we've ever had.
put that on a t-shirt. I don't know much about corn. Quote Shae 2022.
Put it on the merch site. I don't care. Do whatever you want. I'll buy it. I buy more merch than all of you.
And you can also check us out on Twitch, where we do video game stuff. This is Bombers on Twitch. And man, how does Xiaber do this every week? Shae Plays is pretty cool. How's that been going? Actually, did you get that all sorted out?
No, so I believe I should have it sorted out. I was busy last Friday night. I wasn't able to do anything, but I am free tomorrow night, which is 2 days before you're listening to this. But well, I'll be there. I'll see you there.
And head to our Patreon to get that pre-show that we talked about earlier. I think we did. $5, etc., etc. You can join the wonderful company of our friends of the show, Haley, Himaru, Minted Peas, and Reaper. Or if you're really feeling like sporty, you can join our best friends, Ann and Rob. They'd love to have you as their friends too, because we're all friends here in the Bombers. Unless
you know what's a plant?
What's a
mint?
Mint
and peas is also a vegetable.
Peas is also a plant.
Yeah, sure is.
Huh.
Green pea.
I feel like that
sugar snap pea. You ever eat a sugar snap pea?
Sugar snaps are great. I feel like that was a little bit.
It's been a long time.
That was an easy way to connect it to fruits. That was a real low hanging one, you could say.
Look, it's not my fault that Minted Peas happened to choose my major in college as her
identity.
You know. Yeah.
It's not. It's not at all. It's definitely Peas' fault.
Oh, okay. What's next? Next is the upcoming releases section, Anthony. And we're going to talk about some of the things that are coming out over the next couple of days that I'm sure all of you are very interested in. I was browsing the PlayStation 5. Excuse me. I was browsing the PlayStation 5 store last night, and I came upon the ability to download one Grand Theft Auto 5 for free. And it is available beginning March 15th on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. I thought this was out already, but apparently it has not come out, and it will be out on March 15th. So what do you think? You ready for the Ides of March in Grand Theft Auto 5?
I think you're confused. This has been out for like 7 years.
No, it's brand new. It's coming. No, it's coming out in March 15th. Brand new game. Very highly anticipated Grand Theft Auto sequel. Grand Theft Auto 4, man, it's been 14 years since Grand Theft Auto 4 came out. I think we're finally ready for a new one.
Well, and also Grand Theft Auto 5. which came out.
Yeah, it's coming out on March 15th this year, 2022. Brand new game.
Here's my question. What is it about 5, specifically when Roman numeraled into the V, that causes the game to be released ad nauseum and not have a sequel?
I don't know what you're talking about.
GTA 5, Elder Scrolls 5. They just keep...
Can you think of any others?
I mean, I don't need any more. Duke
Nukem 5, still in development. Can you believe it? After all this time, we had Duke Nukem 3D, Duke Nukem Forever, and now we're on to Duke Nukem 5, and it's just...
If I had a nickel for every series that got to 5 and then stopped and re-released, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Suikoden really is due for a 6th game, I think, at this point. I don't know what's taken so long. Jack and Daxter... I mean, I don't know if you want to count The Lost Frontier as one, but I definitely count Jack X Combat Racing as a key cornerstone part of that franchise. So, I mean, we're talking about 6 games here.
I'm a traditionalist. If it doesn't have the 5/V in the title, then it's right out. Like Halo 5. How many times have they re-released that? Jeez.
This reminds me pretty significantly of when they released Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And I don't know if you remember this, but but previously it was like Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and it was like 3 vertical lines, a la a Roman numeral. And then 4 came out, and it was 4 vertical lines.
Oh, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the IV. It was 4 vertical lines. My wife is in the other room. She just gave me a look like, did they really do that? Yes, they did.
See, I was expecting it to be 3 vertical lines for 3, but then the like Arabic, like actually. Character
look
that
it up.
is
Look
4.
up that box art. I realized that there was a press release saying like, no, it was never Roman numerals. Like that was on you for reading it that way. But
it's tally marks.
Give me
obviously.
a break. Give me a break.
Wow, it really is dumb, isn't it? That box art.
Well,
it's very hard to. It just looks like a logo emblem. It doesn't look like a number call. Like that's part of the name. That's wild. What are you doing, Call of Duty? Get your stuff together.
March 16th, Anthony, little game called Tunic is coming out. It's coming to Xbox, Xbox One, PC, and Mac. So if you like that stuff, check it out. It's basically Zelda, but with a fox. And I'm not making that up.
Yeah, it's pretty cute looking. And by cute looking, I mean they kind of sort of have isometrically ripped off Zelda. Because
it looks like Link's Awakening, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does.
He's got red hair. He's wearing a green, tunic. He's got
a tunic, perhaps?
A shield that is color themed with red and blue. Wonder what they're trying to evoke here.
Well, the creator of the game even said like it was designed to evoke certain like triangle collecting games of the past.
Yeah.
So I mean, at least he's being like vaguely upfront about it.
Cheekily honest. I don't know. This looks pretty cute. I'm gonna wish list this and take a look at it on.
Yeah, I would like to know if it's good. I remember a couple years ago, this game was revealed back in 2018. It was at Microsoft's E3 press conference when they were showing off like the indies at Xbox stuff.
Come on, stop.
And
sorry, I was watching the trailer and it has an item near the end of the trailer that is themed with blue, red, and green. Come on.
I'm cutting none of this as you keep interrupting the point I'm trying to make, which is this game, as usual, was made by one person. So that's cool, I guess. I don't know if you're into this sort of thing. I'd say check it out. I mean, it's not on a platform that I would pick up a game on because I can't get it physically. But neat.
Yeah. Not yet. If it sells well enough.
No, if it does well, it'll get ported to PS4 and Switch, and limited run will probably do a physical version of it. So I'm just kind of, to be honest with you, I'm kind of waiting for that because that's been happening a lot lately. So,
yep, exactly.
All right, and then finally, we don't have Xiber here, and he was the one I was really interested in talking about this with, but. Anthony, I know you're a real big fan of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax coming to Nintendo Switch, PS4, and PSC on March 17th.
Oh boy.
St. Patty's Day, Saint Persona's Day.
It's been rebranded. St. Persona's Day.
What are you doing on St. Persona's Day?
Is that what day actually is that?
I think it's the 17th, isn't it?
It's a Thursday? When is?
Oh God! Why would they do that? My work is going to be miserable the next day. Nobody's going to come in. It's a Friday after everyone's getting wasted. This is terrible.
Yep, St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, Thursday.
Bombers Day,
I'll be recording a podcast that day, weirdly enough, and then doing a community night on the Twitch afterwards, because that happens every Thursday. So you may be interested to know that I did actually get Persona 4 Arena, or the original, like, vanilla release on PlayStation 3.
How much of it have you played? How many hours?
I definitely have played it before.
Really? All sorts of surprises tonight.
It at least went into my PS3 at one point in the past, and I turned it on. Played a couple matches.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
Drink your Ghost. Drink Xiber's Ghost.
I don't want to drink any more Ghost. I've had too much caffeine today already because I'm so tired.
Well, then wake up.
Also, stuff that happens every week is we do a segment that is called the Weekly Bomb, and in this segment, we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games and possibly other places too, but we haven't done that yet. This week, Anthony, Sony had a State of Play, which if you're listening to this was probably almost a full week ago at this point, but guess what? There are still hot takes to be had. And we're going to go through every item that was announced, and we're going to tell you if it was a bomb or the bomb. How about that?
We have the hottest of takes.
The only podcast that discusses hot gaming news straight from the source. The only one. There are no others.
A week later.
Are you ready? What? Yeah, hot news.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hot, relevant news. All right. I'm just pulling out my list here. All right. So here's everything that was shown. It was pretty short. It was like 20 minutes or so. But you know, it's okay to do a short thing as long as you got cool stuff to show, right? And they started off with a bang.
Did they?
A little bit of a reveal here from Capcom. Game called Exoprimal, which is like, these names are getting worse and worse, I swear.
Right?
But it's coming to PS5, PS4, kind of evoking initially some Dino Crisis stuff, Anthony, but mercifully did not end up actually being Dino Crisis because it is an online multiplayer game where you fight dinosaurs.
You know what it looks like to me? It looks like they were like, let's do a Left 4 Dead Back 4 Blood ripoff, except we can't do zombies because they're played out, so what else could we throw in there? And then some guy in the meeting room was like, dinosaurs are pretty cool.
Well, that guy was right, but I'm not interested in this because I don't want this.
Yeah, the whole time I was watching it, I was like, why? But why? And more importantly, why did you lead your State of Play with such a non-exciting?
Because these things aren't marketed towards us. These State of Plays have never been for you and me.
But
First of all, they've never had a good one before, and then secondly, this is like Sony's market is primarily not people like us, people who enjoy a nice single-player experience, because everything is shifting toward the live service model where everything has to have a multiplayer element to it, and that's fine. That's just what the game industry is now. That's why they lead off with this, because a lot of people are probably I would say a lot of people are excited about this, but I've mostly only seen negative feedback, so maybe I'm wrong.
And your base presumption seems weird to me because in my mind, PlayStation and Sony has always been the place to go for the single-player experience, and Xbox more wraps up the multiplayer online stuff. And then Nintendo is just doing whatever they do, sort of couch
Nintendo
co-op?
will maybe have couch co-op, will probably not have online, but sometimes will in weird spots.
I think that, generally speaking, Sony's market is the single player. I mean, we're about to look at a bunch of other single player story driven content in this State of Play. So
at least they still have something.
I was genuinely surprised with Exoprimal. The only thing that I'll say at the end is I was genuinely surprised that it was Capcom.
It kind of reminds me of the effort that Capcom made with the Lost Planet series. You remember that?
Yeah.
First it was a snow planet, then it was terrible. The vibe I'm getting kind of reminds me of that. It's not the same thing, obviously, because there's no snow and but fighting the big monsters and all that stuff. Like a little Lost Planet, and that was a Capcom game.
And it had a tiny amount of reminisce to Monster Hunter, so I kind of get that. But it didn't feel like it had a large studio like Capcom behind it, if you get what I'm trying to say about it.
I do. I guess the other piece of information that's important to note here about Exoprimal is that it's coming out in 2023. It's a long time from now, Anthony.
So
it's over a year, probably.
Definitely, I would imagine over a year. So it is kind of early in the development, I guess. But then that's just the whole why you're showing this stuff off so early.
Well, I don't know.
That's all. I'm done.
All right.
Yeah, you're right. Let's move on.
I mean, let's done being bummed about that, because they did show some pretty cool stuff, and one of those things was the Diofield Chronicle, Anthony, which is basically a couple games from Square here. It's my understanding this game is basically going to be Final Fantasy Tactics.
I think that I didn't pay attention to this portion because it was Square Enix, and I immediately went, all right, I got work to do, and checked out.
Oh.
And I recall during this part, like, tell me if you agree with me, the voice acting, or just the voice quality of the voiceovers, the overall production quality, I mean, seemed really current times work from homey.
I gotta go back and watch it again, because I wasn't really paying that close of attention. I'm not big into tactics RPGs anyway, but and I don't really I understand why this is a big deal for tactics fans and fans of Final Fantasy Tactics, basically, but this is not for me, so I didn't really pay super close attention like you.
Xiber, rest his soul, would have loved this.
Did he leave any sort of dying messages about the Diofield Chronicle that maybe we can reach out to him and see what he thought via some sort of exorcism type event?
I bet if we sifted our way through all of the old Bombers episodes, we could definitely necromance an audio file together that talks about how excited he is about this.
All right, I will do that.
No, you won't. No one's gonna do that.
All right, so let's see here. The next game that was announced was Valkyrie Elysium, and it's a Valkyrie profile game, which I know obviously you love RPGs, Anthony. What do you think of Valkyrie profile?
The wildest part is it's going, and then it reveals the name, and I'm like, hey, is this Valkyrie profile? So I did know. And then they showed what I assume was the main character from Valkyrie profile at the end, and I was like, oh, hey, it is. So I was proud of myself for at least putting that together. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. What, were you just rewatching the trailer too, and you're on your side eye?
No, I was not.
So this article that I pulled up with all the info on it has trailers on it, helpfully, so that I can kind of as we're talking about them, just watch them again, so that I can re-solidify my opinions. I don't know. Looks all right. I don't really know anything about Valkyrie profile, so I need to.
Whilst watching specifically this trailer for Valkyrie Elysium, it's a loud truck. I was watching it and going, man, I remember when Square Enix games were the cutting edge of a high def, good looking, etc.
And it doesn't look super great, does it?
No, it doesn't. But back on PS2, Final Fantasy X was wow, I can't believe they're getting this out of the PlayStation 2, and etc. And then, yeah, this game is kind of rough looking.
I feel like I need to check out Valkyrie profile, because I'm seeing some good reviews here. Classic PlayStation game, PlayStation 2, and then it went away forever. There's a DS game.
And then
I know nothing about this at all. What kind of game is this?
What, Valkyrie profile or Valkyrie Elysium?
Yeah, we know. No, it's an RPG. Valkyrie anything.
It's a classic. It's a JRPG, so I don't know much about it. I'm surprised that you aren't into it.
You love it.
I'm surprised.
I'm surprised that I've really made no effort to do so. So just put it on the list. Put it on the list. Another thing I have to do.
Yeah, there you go.
So, also announced an update for Returnal. Do you care about Returnal?
I mean, no.
Well, will you return to Returnal? I bet everyone's made that joke already.
I never even started to, so I can't go back. I don't know. I couldn't piece something
You can't
together.
return to Returnal. They're adding a co-op mode and stuff. I wonder if they've added a mode where you can actually suspend your game mid-game and not lose everything if the PS5 decides to shut down. I wonder if I think they did that. I'm just taking dumb shots at stuff.
Yeah, they fixed that. But yeah, launch title for the PS5, getting a multiplayer co-op mode. And
not a launch title. Launch window, I believe.
I thought it was a launch title.
No,
whatever.
I think it was one of the really early 2021 PS5 games.
It was very early.
For most people, every PS5 game is a launch title because no one has a PS5 still.
True. It's. I mean, they've added actual content, with like story content, not just like here's some additional cosmetics that you can pay us for type of stuff. So I mean, that's good.
Yep.
There's actual gameplay.
Next, Anthony, we had Ghostwire Tokyo, which is actually we already knew about, and it's coming out in a couple weeks. Pretty standard fare here, just a release trailer, a launch trailer. I think the game looks awesome, and I can't wait to give it a shot.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Evil Within E.
What?
It's like Evil Within, but not.
Oh, Evil Within E. Evil Within S?
Yes. Oh, yes.
I don't know. I thought it looked pretty neat.
I've been all over this game since they first revealed it a couple years ago, so I'm into it for sure.
I'll compliment that they've stuck to the Japanese voice track with subtitle thing to really go for that actual like Tokyo authenticity, considering it's called Ghostwire Tokyo. So that's
that was the one thing about Ghost of Tsushima that I thought was really weird, was that the English language was in there like as a default.
Yeah, but I
get that it's a big AAA release and everything, but like if we're going for authenticity, which we should be for a game that's set in Japan, and it's not like an RPG, you know, like you have to read a bunch of text, like just put the voices in Japanese. It's fine.
Well,
we can handle it.
And if it's an RPG where you have to read a bunch of what? Because you're reading subtitle.
Text.
Anyway.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about RPGs that don't have voice acting.
Well, you
obviously you put that in English.
It needs to be in text. I played through with the Japanese voice track for Ghost of Tsushima because, as you pointed out, why wouldn't you?
No, like I genuinely can't imagine why you would play it in English. Like that just seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
It seems like you wouldn't even enjoy it. I don't know.
So the fact that they're like pushing that as the default experience, I appreciate that.
Me too. All right. Forspoken, we knew about. I have no interest in Forspoken.
I actually think it looks pretty cool and might end up having to pick it up. I mean,
another Square Enix game, by the way.
I know.
Interesting, how much play they got
interestingly enough, yeah. But it looks cool. I had forgotten that we'd had it like previously announced, and at one point in the past month was just goofing around on PlayStation 5, looking through the store for sales and stuff, and came across Forspoken on there, and was like, "Huh, this looks neat." So then when it was on the State of Play, I was like, "Oh yeah, that still looks neat."
Are you having trouble keeping track of everything? Because I really, really am these days. Just everything that's been announced, you know, it's been years for some of these things. Some of them, because of world events, like went into hiding for a long time. And just, man, it's hard to keep track of this stuff.
Generally speaking, that's why I hate when they do let's announce this 4 years before, because I forget about it. We've got other stuff that's coming out in the interim 4 years. You gotta hit the hammer while it's anvil, or hit the hot iron.
Yep.
I don't know. Nintendo, generally speaking, does it pretty well where there's a smaller window, except for certain,
except for a couple of games
certain
that shall remain nameless.
Unspoken titles.
Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy something that's coming out like next week actually, so keep your eyes open for that. Gundam Evolution. What do you know? Are you a Gundam guy? Are you a mech guy? I know you like models.
I'm not like super into Gundam, but I am aware of it and know enough about it. I'm sure there are certain members of the community who I don't think listen to the podcast who are very excited about this game. It looked interesting. Like, as I was watching the quote-unquote gameplay, because who knows if it's actually like reflective of what the gameplay will be like, but the gameplay stuff of it, I was like, it doesn't really seem very Gundam. It just seems like a arena shooter that happens to have Gundam skins for the characters. So,
I genuinely don't have anything to say about this because I know nothing about any of this.
But
it is coming to America now. We know that for sure.
Yep. It said that there was a play preview stress test something or another coming to Japan and US. So Guess we'll see what it's like when people actually get their hands on it.
Not me, though.
Not me. Maybe me.
Nope.
We'll see if I get convinced, but probably not.
You said there's people in our Discord server who are like into this thing?
Oh yeah, well, or just into Gundam in general.
Okay, I'd like to run very far away from those people.
Well,
all right, now it's time for TMNT, the Cowabunga collection, Anthony.
Definitely.
And we counted them up pre-show, and we came up with 13 TMNT games: TMNT Arcade, TMNT Turtles in Time Arcade, TMNT on NES, TMNT 2 on NES. TMNT 3, the Manhattan Project. I'm going to just stop saying TMNT because they're all TMNT games, and it's starting to sound unreal to me.
Turtles Tournament Fighter, Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, Turtles Tournament Fighters Super Nintendo, Turtles Hyperstone Heist, Turtles Tournament Fighters. So there's
how many Tournament Fighters games are there? That seems weird.
Well, that's the thing. There's 13 games, but like 3 of them are Tournament Fighters, NES, SNES, and Genesis. So
well, the big win here for me was TMNT 3 Radical Rescue on Game Boy, which I'm only interested in because somebody mentioned that it was essentially a Metroidvania, it's a Metroid-like game that came out pre-Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and since this is Konami, I feel like there's a lot of maybe they were trying some stuff out. Like you'll see game developers do stuff like that, where they'll test concepts on licensed games or things that are maybe not expected to make as much of a splash amongst the hardcore people. I've seen that before, and maybe this is an example of that. So I want to check that out.
And this is a cool collection for sure, even with there being multiple versions of sim game type stuff going on. It's 13 Turtles games, and it's from the like high point, Turtles Arcade, Turtles in Time, etc. Where
are you old enough, Anthony, that TMNT had a big impact on your childhood? Because I just kind of missed it. I just missed it by a couple of years.
Oh yeah, I definitely grew up playing Turtle toys and watching the original cartoon.
Did you play any of the games originally?
Oh yeah,
did you have that on Super Nintendo? Or?
I did not own any, but like going to the arcade, like that's how old I am. I went to the arcade and played arcade games in the arcade.
You're so cool.
But Turtles Arcade was one of the like primo arcade games. That, X-Men, and The Simpsons Arcade were like the big ones. So this is a cool collection. We'll see. I think that a lot of the make or break for this is going to be what the final pricing for it is.
I want to say it's $40 physical. Because they are releasing it physically, which was surprising to me, and I'm happy that they are. Yeah. But
and that's
would you buy it for $40? I think I'd buy it for $40.
I would be very tempted to buy it for $40 physical. Certainly.
Okay. All right. Giga Bash is a 4-player monster fighting game, which I always want to like more than I end up actually liking. Like Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, I just thought was the coolest concept in the world.
That was the game that I was watching this and I went, oh, it's Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee. Neat.
Except it doesn't really look all that good, and I like how the monsters look, I guess. But visually, this is not a super appealing game. Otherwise,
I mean, to be perfectly honest, neither was Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee. So
well, it's not now. I thought at the time it looked pretty damn good.
It was okay.
It's 20 years old. You feel old now?
Huh. So anyways.
Yeah, you do.
Giant monsters fighting in a city. Neat, but it sounds hard to make an entire game out of that, It seems like more like
Now I think you need maybe a little bit more. I guess it remains to be seen exactly how deep this is, but watching the very short trailer that they included, you really don't see a ton of depth there. I don't think
just content in general. It seems like this is definitely one of those free to play games as service short. Play it for a little bit and then come back later looking type of games as far as a modern audience is concerned. As opposed to Destroy All Monsters, which got away with that 20 years ago as just being the entire experience of the game. So,
I mean, play it for a little bit sounds about right. So,
Yep.
As I get ever more tired as we streak towards the end of this episode of Bombers. Let's talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. This actually is not a new game. This came out probably 10 years ago on PS3, I think.
I was surprisingly excited about this. I don't know why.
I mean, if you're into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I can see why you'd be excited.
That's the weird thing. I'm really not.
Well, then I have to know. What is there for you here?
It was
a fighting game. I didn't know you were into fighting games, first of all.
I have problems where I occasionally enjoy the concept of fighting games. It's much like horror games where I enjoy the idea behind it, but I don't actually want to sit down and play it. Do we know who's developing this game? Because every time I see a game like this, immediately what comes to mind is the Dragon Ball Z fighting games, basically. Bandai Namco. So,
is it? Okay,
yeah.
So yeah, it's the same. Yeah, so they're just taking a year off of Dragon Ball. They're going to try JoJo for a little bit.
Well, and
then next year they'll be back to Dragon Ball, as usual.
JoJo's as a very big, probably as big IP comparatively to Dragon Ball to begin with.
I do not believe you.
Well, hang out in the weeb crowds. I don't know what to tell you.
Hold on, my cat is being... Hold on. I'm not editing. I'm editing out the earlier bathroom break. I'm not editing out this part. This is really infuriating.
I'm just going to talk about JoJo because you have a wireless headset.
Do it.
I liked how the game looked. Like it's got that good cell shading, comic-y. Like it looks like JoJo. And if you've seen any of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure show, it's got that interesting sketchiness. Like there's a very specific... It's kind of
like a half cell shady, kind of a half, like a pencil sketch almost.
Yeah, that's a very specific
but also
visual.
Clearly cell shaded. Yeah,
and
like a Beautiful Joe almost.
Yeah, kind of. And it's I don't know how much you know about fighting game history in general, but there was a really... I'd have to look it up because I forgot to journalism this. But there was a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fighting game that was a 2D pixel Super Street Fighter 2-ish era style game.
It came out when Super Street Fighter 2 came out, or you're saying it was designed after that game and came out at some
around
other time?
That time.
No, I don't know.
Which I don't actually know the name of or
if
anything.
you've heard of this mystery game, post something about it in the Discord, in the Bombers chat. How about that?
Sure. But it's the one where Dio, who's the guy in the yellow suit, stabs a guy 15 million times and drops a steamroller on him. I don't know if you've ever seen that little video.
Drops a steaming roller on him. I gotcha.
It's a classic is what I'm going for.
It was me, Dio.
Yes, that's the meme.
Yep. All right. Anything else on
nope.
JoJo's Bizarre episode of Bombers? All right.
Went nowhere.
Last thing that was shown, Anthony. I'm actually probably most excited for this from everything that was shown, which just shows you where my headspace is at when I'm watching these Nintendo Direct style events. Which is, I just want to see something that looks awesome and is just different than other stuff. And Trek to Yomi is kind of insidey in the way, and there I go again, adding the letter Y. I mean, it's like Inside and it's like Limbo, but only in that it's black and white. It's like a Japanese samurai type side scroller game, and I'm just really into how the game looks. I'm into the whole samurai aesthetic. I'm into Ghost of Tsushima. Give me more of this, please. And it's very Japanese and it's very moody looking, and I'm into it.
Yeah, it looked really cool. Fun little. I don't know how much of a weeb nerd you are. Yomi is the Japanese underworld. So
I am not that much of a weeb to know what the Japanese underworld is.
Well,
I just know that I like how it looks and how it sounds, and
it was cool looking.
It looks cool.
Definitely looking forward to learning more about that game, which I mean shouldn't be too long of a wait. I mean they said quote unquote spring, but it's there, it's coming up, so why don't we have a more firm date on that at this point? And it is Devolver Digital, so they make good games. Devolver does.
They sure do. I hope it comes to other stuff. I know it's coming to PC. But I know a lot of these games were also, as they were announced for PS5 or PS4, they were also announced for other platforms, like kind of stealthily. But Sony had the reveal right and the marketing right to it. Hopefully, this is one that can find its way to other platforms as well. Not because I want to play it on another system. I think PS5 would probably do this game a lot of favors in terms of its visual style. But it'd be neat to just kind of get it out there,
widen the audience, and it's Devolver, so they're not necessarily tied to Sony either.
No,
they do tend.
And they've released Katana Zero like as a launch exclusive for Switch, and then brought it to other platforms. So like that would not be unusual for them.
Yep. But it does.
Right.
It looks fun. It looks fun in a
sure
moody
does.
kind of way.
All right, Anthony, that's the end of the show. Oh wait,
is it?
First, we need to do something else. What?
Show's over, go home.
What is it? What is the thing that we're doing? What is the other thing? It's called Minish Recap. And what did you do? What do you have to recap?
Well, here's a little thing that might catch you off guard. Earlier of this week, I went back and played some more of Halo Infinite's single player mode. And
which you hate? Question mark? Or is that... I have a hard time keeping who hates what straight around here.
Well, everybody hates everything except for the people that don't hate things.
So. I already blocked all those people on Twitter.
Exactly. I mean, it remains one of those why did this have to be open world situations? But I still sat down and was like, well, I'm going to shoot things and run around and do the open world. Let me mark off the check marks on the overworld map type of stuff. Gunplay still feels fairly good overall, so at least it's generally fun to play as a shooter game. Whether or not it's necessarily a super great Halo game is still in debate as far as I'm concerned. But I at least went back and played more of it, so they got that going for them.
Yay! I don't know. I have this is another situation where you realize, okay, Xiaber's dead. He's not here. So there's a lot of topics that we have here that we're really not going to be able to say a lot about. But let's just keep them in just in case one of us has something to say. And it turns out when you guys talk Halo Infinite, I have nothing to say about it.
Well, how about the game called Timberborn? Which is...
Okay, this I want to know more about.
It is
Tell me about Timberborn.
A resource management, city builder style game where you are controlling a society of beavers who are building their whole spiel along a river.
So it's like Spore, but with beavers.
Not quite. But... the cool thing about this game is that everything is based around the water physics of the game to a degree.
Oh, so it's like Wetrix, but with beavers.
No, it's like Spore, but with Wetrix. No, it's it's all built around the river that's in the middle, where the game calculates distance from water source to allow things to grow, and because it's a resource management, you need things to grow to keep yourself fed, to, keep your beavers properly hydrated, because nobody wants a dry beaver. And you gotta deal with a fluctuating series of wet seasons and droughts. So you have to properly build your beaver dam to hold back water so that you can survive through the droughts. And it's pretty good. I really enjoy that aspect of it. I went in and 1/3 of the map I turned into a giant reservoir lake. And
I really like the aesthetic of the game, the visual aesthetic.
Yeah.
I like how everything it's very wooden, which makes sense, right? But you also get the riverside stones, and I like the way the water looks, and it's a nice looking game. Very stylish.
Yeah, it's fun. And it's still technically in early access, which is wild. But it's
I like the beavers. They look cool.
Yeah. It's one of those
Oh, look, that one's carrying a crate on his back. That's adorable.
It's one of those early access games where it feels like a finished product that they're still adding more to, as opposed to a lot of other ones where it's not even developed yet and they just want money and then they're going to stop working on it type of things.
How much do you pay for an early access product such as Timberborn?
It's usually cheaper than a full release the normal price for Timberborn was $25. I got it for $20 on sale. So for a full experience modern game, pretty good deal.
So 25 bones in stores now.
And I like those resource management city builder style games, like an RTS, except that there's no army, so you don't have to worry about fighting.
See, I would like those sort of resource management kinds of games. In fact, I'd be really into them. But the problem is that my job is literally resource management. Like, that was my title, resource management specialist, for a while. My title has changed, but my job responsibilities are essentially the same. So that's
visceral
that's
gut
no good.
reaction to I don't want.
Yeah, like, I don't want to go. Like, I'm not going to take a day off of work and play Timberborn, because then I'm not taking a day off of work. I'm just doing something differently with my day. Maybe it's a fun day, maybe it's a good day, but it doesn't feel like a day off.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess, managing a herd of beavers would probably be easier than managing the chuckleheads that I have to work with, some of whom listen to this podcast. But we'll talk about that later.
Not taking it back. What about you? What did you do?
All right. Well, my dad came into town. He was visiting, and we went to a couple concerts last night. We went to His Golden Messenger at a local venue, and then on Monday night we went to Little Feet in Milwaukee. And I don't know if you know Little Feet, but they're like kind of older southern rock.
The dinosaur from Land Before Time.
No, it's Littlefoot.
Oh,
that's
different. There's more than one of that dinosaur.
That's right, yeah. So anyway, you in Exoprimal in stores now. But what I came to the realization of is that my dad, who is like 73 years old, is in like significantly better shape than I am, and is much more well-equipped to be in these scenarios where he's up late, he's partying with the kids, he's at Little Feet, he's at His Golden Messenger, he's having a great time. And I'm just like standing there. I'm just like, I am so freaking tired. Like, when is this show going to be over? Like, and I'm having a good time, but there gets to a point where I'm just like, I'm counting down the minutes. So I'm like, okay, they just played one of their most well-known songs, so I know we got to be getting near the end. I bet there's like 3 or 4 more, and then they're going to do like a 1-song encore, and then it's a 2-song encore, and it's the most devastating thing in the world to me. I feel like I'm getting too old, man. Am I getting too old to be going to all these shows? I go to like a show a week on average. It's too much. I'm so tired all the time.
That is a lot of shows per week on a per capita basis. 2, welcome to my experience with going to shows over the past, 7 years. However younger than me you are.
It just sucks because I'm 28. I'm not old. Yep. I'm starting to feel older,
7
but
years.
I'm not old. But at the same time, like, shouldn't I be like? I should still be enjoying my youth, my prime, or am I out of my prime? Is that official?
No, yeah.
Am I officially out of my prime?
That's official. You're out.
Oh man.
I mean, that's even. I'll admit this. Even going to fish shows, there are times at fish shows where I'm there, like, I'm having a really good time, but they're winding up soon, right? I'm tired.
You kind of like, can we just play Character Zero and get out of here already?
Or literally any other song.
Oh. But yeah, I don't. This could be it, man. This could be the beginning of the end of me going to like 50 shows a year.
Yeah. I mean, that's
we'll see.
You never really stop, but you do definitely slow down. And then I guess per what we saw with your dad, you get a second wind at some point around 60 something.
I'm pretty sure he was also like sneaking edibles while I wasn't looking. Can I say edibles on the podcast? Edibles.
Oh man, we got to get the editor to edit to those out.
Oh crap! I have a funny story about that, by the way, that I'll tell you later. I'm not going to tell you on the podcast.
That's for the post show or the post show.
Nope. No, that's on the post show. That's not even getting. No one can hear that story except my good friend Anthony.
And after the party,
so I don't know.
There's the after.
So I didn't really do anything else. I just got really depressed, and that was my week. So yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you were looking for encouragement, but like, hey, I'm here to tell you it gets worse.
No, I'm not looking for encouragement or even like a false ray of hope so much as I'm just looking for someone to confirm that I'm not crazy. I actually am getting older, and like it's time to start slowing down here.
That's the way it do be, though.
No, I know. I wasn't sure exactly when it would happen, and maybe it is happening now, and that's okay because it's part of the aging process.
Turns out it happened in March of 2022, so you can mark that one down.
Yeah, it sure did. Something changed after that Neil Francis show back in January. I was like, okay, this is the best night of my life. It's only downhill from here.
And then it was.
All right, coming next week on Bombers, Neil Francis. He's our guest. Welcome, Neil. He's here now. No, he's not.
It's it's not till next week. It'll be our chemistry test to see if he's a fit replacement for deceased bomber number 3, Xiaber.
Ah, rest in peace.
I guess we never did discuss this. Are we retiring the number, or do we just pass it on to like a successor?
I mean, the way I see it, he kind of had the same impact on bombers that like a Jackie Robinson had on baseball. Just breaking down barriers and really challenging the conceptions of
and the established.
What a podcaster should be, whether or not a podcaster should be playing games while podcasting. Whether a podcaster should be paying attention to their co-hosts at all.
The certain
just a lot of things that Xiaber did, breaking barriers.
The amount that you should be chewing when you're not doing a mukbang podcast.
I can't believe that people exist that watch those videos.
It really
wigs me out. It feels
out.
like a thing that someone. It's a thing where nobody actually watches the video. They just keep sending it to each other as a prank, and they keep clicking on it, and they're like, "Oh, I just gave it another view."
It's one of those gross things that are like, "Huh, guess I'm into this now." Where you send it around long enough that you eventually it's like ironically using a term that then unironically becomes part of your lexicon.
Yeah, I don't have a witty response to that because I kept thinking about like I should just ask people like what mukbang video should I watch? Like send me do this. If you're listening to this,
oh boy.
I want you to send me your favorite mukbang video and I will watch it and report back on next week's episode.
Clarification. Definitely directly DM that to him, and please do not post that in the server.
Yeah, because everyone will then be forced to watch. It's not like inappropriate, right? Like they're not naked.
I mean,
maybe there are some.
If it's
Don't send me those.
I guess.
Well, I can find those on my own.
If you're on YouTube, probably not. But there are other sites that they might link you to, and you should question those.
YouTube.com naked mukbang. Make it happen.
Ugh. I hate this conversation. Let's talk about something else.
This is a great title.
Oh boy.
This is ASMR mukbang black bean fire noodles and chicken nuggets in parentheses no talking and then close parentheses in all caps eating sounds. It's tremendous.
So we're in the post show now, right?
It says 44 million views.
I hate